Well, good morning and welcome to Corona Fits. Let's see where our fit takes us today. The title of this talk is, excuse me, The Corona Monk. Are you going stir crazy yet? Corona is creating a home arrest, and it's changing some very powerful perceptions and expectations of our life, particularly with time. Now, you see, what Corona has done is that it is forced us to look at our addiction to future. Now, by addiction to future, I mean our schedules in the world. Oh, I'm going here, I'm going there, we're going here. We're doing something. We've got things to do, places to go, things to make us better, things to remove, things to fix. It's all out there in the future. We got to go somewhere. You got to go by. In other words, house arrest, home alone. You see, shut up in my apartment, in my house. It's kind of like disconnected us from our addiction to time, in the calendar, in tomorrow, in the future, and our need to be doing something, making life better, and getting this, getting that, removing this. All of these things we're involved in suddenly is removed by threat of death. By threat of death, you see. And now we're kind of like monks. Now those who are seized by the spiritual path, seized by the Dharma, will seek out home alone, will seek out home arrest, will even become a monk. So many of the meditation teachers today, back in the 60s and 70s, went to Asia, went to Southeast Asia, went to become a monk, live in a monastery. And living in a monastery is very strict. I mean, you just sit in there in your room with a bowl. Your prized possession is a bowl and a shawl, a meditation cushion. That's it. And you just sit there. And if you're seized by meditation, if you're seized by the Dharma, the call to meditate, well, then you go sit in your room. And you just sit. And what you discover, you see, you disconnect from the world for a moment. You disconnect from time. Clip, 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 you see. And you force something to well up inside that is not dependent upon time, that is not dependent upon future. Our modern world, you see, is very deeply, and particularly in America, deeply, deeply addicted to time and tomorrow and future and making it better and doing all these things, action. What happened to the front porch? That's a metaphor for me. The front porch is the end of the day when you just sit on the front porch and go, you might be some lightning bugs. There might be the evening chatter of birds. But it's just abiding in being, abiding in the present moment. Abiding in being, you see. Now, being has no time because being is now. So we abide in being now, which means you can just sit. Now, that to me, that's one of the goals of meditation, for me anyway. That has been the discovery of abiding in being, abiding in myself, and this self is the present moment. So you think you're outside of the present moment and you got to get to a better moment. That's not abiding in the present moment. Abiding in the present moment is just abiding in where you are, what you're doing. If you're in an apartment and you're just sitting there, there's no place to go, nothing new to look at, can't go out, you're bored. Boredom. What does boredom mean? Boredom means that you find nothing exciting now, nothing of interest. I'm bored. I'm going stir crazy. I don't know how to abide in being here. Abiding here just means abiding in what you're doing. If you're sitting, if you're walking, if you're looking at the wall, you can abide in that. But it takes a disconnection before you can learn how to do that. That's why the monastic tradition has always been available, more so in other cultures, but in our culture, well, it happened in the 60s when suddenly Eastern meditation, yoga, Buddhism came flooding into our country. It was the wisdom of abiding, a wisdom of abiding in your own being. The wisdom and the joy and the peace of just abiding in being here now. Ram Dass coined that, wrote a book, Be Here Now. All the wisdom teaching is about being here now. Abiding in who you are, what you're doing in just this. Abiding in just this. Being content with just this, you see. So Corona came, kind of like a destroyer, kind of like a guru who said, no, you're going to meditate now. You're going to learn how to abide in being. You're just going to learn how to be okay with whatever's given. You got no toilet paper? You're okay. You can't get to the store. You can't get to the job. You don't know if you got any money coming. You're okay. Just abiding in that. You can do things can happen, things can change, but whatever is going on, you're okay. That's abiding in your basic okayness. In other words, there is a basic goodness, a basic peace, a basic being that is our foundation, our essence, but we've lost contact with it because we are so involved in future. Getting somewhere, doing something, making things better. Always having to be entertained, excited, drama, entertainment, fun. We want a vacation from just being me. Just abiding in who you are, you see. And so Corona comes kind of like as a great teaching. If you look at it that way, it can be a great disaster, and yes, it's that. But at the same time, there's a great teaching in disaster. So find that. That's your Corona fit. Make that fit. Thanks for dropping in.